This is a clinical AI safety layer. It is middleware that wraps an existing behavioral health chatbot and enforces a stateful cross-stern safety policy that the clinical team owns with a fileable audit trail. The thesis: safety is an architecture problem, not a prompting problem. The library holds 10 conversations, modeled on the documented public record. Start with the default, an eating disorder drift, 6 turns. Read one at a time. Each is an ordinary wellness question a per-message moderator should not block. Only the relentless restriction pattern reveals the disorder. Press replay. The same patient conversation now runs through both stacks at once. The chatbot with no safety layer on the left, and the same chatbot behind the verifier layer on the right. Watch it play out. Here is the machinery. Every message on the guarded side runs the same pipeline: classifier, trajectory, verifier, gate, audit. The classifier and the critic panel are the AI, and they only advise. The escalation decision and the hash-chained audit are deterministic code outside any model. Agents advise, code decides. A reviewer can read the gate, they cannot cross-examine a prompt. By the third turn, 2 turns before any single message is explicitly dangerous, the cross-turn risk meter crosses into concern. The layer blocks the chatbot's reply and substitutes a clinician-approved grounding script. Meanwhile, the stateless per-message moderator, having no memory, still reads every message as benign. By the final turns, the messages turn explicitly dangerous. On the left, unguarded, the chatbot delivers the harm: how to hide food from your family, shown struck through as delivered to the patient. On the right, the layer blocks it, the verifier panel flags the reply, and the gate escalates to a human handoff. And any stage is auditable on its own. Click the gate node for this message, and its full result opens. The decision, level 4, a human handoff, the candidate reply withheld, the exact reasons it fired, and the clinical policy version in force. This is the individual, checkable output behind a single decision. The session result: 0 unsafe replies delivered on the right versus 2 on the left. The pattern was caught 2 turns earlier than the identical stateless moderator, and the audit chain is intact, 6 tamper-evident entries. The clinical team owns the policy, not engineering. This is the exact escalation ladder the gate enforces: 5 graduated levels from continue to restrict to substituting a script to a human handoff to a crisis protocol. Patient history from FHIR can lower a threshold, so the layer escalates earlier for a vulnerable patient. And here is the clinician-approved script library. Open a row, and the precise replacement message the layer sends is revealed. It never improvises crisis language. The same layer handles every other case in the library. Here is the eating disorder drift again, but for a patient with an eating disorder history on file, pulled from a stubbed FHIR record. That history lowers the threshold, so the layer reaches concern and substitutes a script even earlier for this vulnerable patient. A pure slow burn. Every message stays quietly under the per-message line, so the stateless moderator never escalates and misses it entirely. The stateful layer still reads the accumulating trajectory and substitutes a grounding script before any harm is delivered. A different failure mode, a paranoid delusion loop. The unguarded chatbot validates the delusion: tell me more about who is watching you. The layer's verifier catches the premise validation, and the gate escalates through a human handoff to a full crisis protocol. 3 unsafe replies prevented. The quiet version of the same disorder. No single message is acute, so again the stateless baseline never escalates. while the stateful layer reads the accumulating pattern and substitutes a grounding script. Suicidality, drifting from passive to active. The unguarded side would have delivered 4 unsafe replies. The layer escalates to the crisis protocol, connecting a counselor and surfacing the 988 line, and delivers 0. Just as important, the layer must not overreact. A benign true negative, an ordinary supportive conversation. Both stacks stay green, the risk meter stays flat, and the layer escalates nothing. A hard or true negative, a patient working through grief. The language is heavy, but it is not a crisis, and the layer correctly lets the supportive conversation continue without a single false escalation. An adversarial jailbreak. The user tries to erode the chatbot's boundaries and extract prohibited content. The verifier panel catches both a prohibited pattern and a fabricated clinical claim in the candidate reply, and the gate forces an escalation regardless of the conversation's tone. And when the signal is genuinely ambiguous, the honest answer is not a guess. The classifier's confidence is low, so it abstains, and the gate routes the conversation to a human for review, rather than inventing a severity level it cannot justify. None of this is a scripted demo. Run the benchmark, and the layer is scored live across all 40 labeled conversations at once. 0 unsafe replies delivered, versus 68 by the unguarded baseline, a median of 2 turns earlier than the stateless moderator. 0 false escalations across 29 benign turns. Crisis severity graded at 94% exact accuracy, and under 0.2 of a millisecond added per message. And every decision is fileable. This is the safety incident report for a single conversation, the tamper-evident receipt. Each message, its classifier reading, its cross-turn risk, the gate decision and why, the script that was sent, and a SH256 hash chained to the entry before it. Edit any field and every hash after it breaks. It is built for FDA post-market monitoring, litigation defense, and insurance underwriting. So the value is not that the model was wrong. It is stateful governance, a deterministic gate the platform can certify, and a fileable receipt. The safety architecture a mental health platform is required to have, and that a prompt alone can never provide. And it is what we build at Veriprajna. If your platform puts AI in front of vulnerable patients and a wrong answer carries real cost, we would welcome a conversation. You will find us at veriprajna.com, building true intelligence.